Monday Motivational Madness. A crazy good way to start your week.
Hola, you amazing artists, and welcome to Monday Motivational Madness!
Yay! Or as I like to call it,
Yeah, that's Today's Monday Motivational Madness is something that is meant to keep you going, to keep you inspired in this crazy thing that we do in our career, which is most of the time feeling like something that you want to quit, you know? Like that's essentially what ends up happening when you really pour yourself into doing this for a living or sharing it out there. It's very easy to get demotivated because you're not getting validation online, you're not getting maybe you're not making any money yet, especially if like validation and money are the things that you're saying like, well, once I get this I'm gonna be successful. What ends up happening is you could get very easily discouraged, and because of that, one thing that has kept me going is reminding myself at all times why it is that I do this. Why did I get started drawing? Right? I didn't start drawing because I was like, I'm gonna make some money with this.
little kid you was like, yeah, money in the bank.
Like, that's not why I started drawing or painting or doing any of the creative projects that I do. I don't get inspired to create because I'm like, oh, this is inspired by making money. You know, I'm gonna make it rain when I do this. None of the projects that I do are inspired by money. And it's one of the reasons that we say all the time, don't chase the money. Remember why it is that you started creating art in the first place. Remember why it is that you feel that burn and that passion to create art, because ultimately that's the thing that's going to keep you going. If you have a passion to create art, the moment that you create the art, that passion is fulfilled and then you move on to the next thing. If you're waiting to make money, the moment you create the art, then you're waiting. And it just doesn't feel right.
No. So why did you start creating?
Honestly, I could deduce. I could deduce why it was that I started creating, but honestly, I don't know. I just feel a passion to create. I think because I was a kid that was very quiet and not very rambunctious, and all the other kids in my family were, that was my outlet. That was my way of getting, and I was also a very quiet kid, so I didn't speak very much. So I feel like a lot of my self-expression took place with art, and it still does.
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
I started creating because I wanted to express myself, and it wasn't for the audience.
Right.
You know, it wasn't for other people. I wanted to express myself for me. And I think that gets lost in today's culture of like, hustle, sell. I want to be able to make money so I could quit my job and do art full time. And immediately your goal becomes making money, and that really, it just throws a wrench into the whole thing. It really does become frustrating.
Especially if you're a musician and you get paid 0.0000067 cents per stream for your songs.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that's definitely not why I write music or do any of the things that I do.
No, because it's not anything to write home about. When you first get started, and eventually, like, the more you do it, the more you put out there, the more art you create, the selling of the stuff or like popularity and stuff like that, that's kind of a side effect of that. But in order to get there, you got to remember why it is that you create the art. Why do I create this? And if you get caught up in like, it's not selling, what do I do with the art that doesn't sell? And it's like, no, that's not why you created the art. So today, and I have this written down, remember the passion and joy that drove you to pick up a paintbrush or a pencil or to play an instrument or to do anything creative. Just remember that and let that be the thing that motivates you to keep going. Because that's the thing that's powerful about being an artist, about being a creative. You get to create stuff. And that in of itself, your creative process, your creations, your experiments, your anything that you decide that you're going to put out there, that in of itself is the motivation to keep going.
I mean, I see things through to the end because I can't wait to see it or to wear it or to hear it on the radio.
Yeah. Once it's done, you know, you sit there and you have your staring moment and you're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. But then it's time to just move on to the next project.
Mm-hmm.
If you're inspired by the art that you create, then that momentum continues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it continues and you move on to the next piece and the next piece.
And
the
you
next
revel
piece.
in the challenge.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
love the problem solving and you feel like a badass.
The momentum comes to a stop. I mean, I have art that hasn't sold in 5 years. I have art that sells after 8 years of me producing. If I was sitting there waiting for it to sell and that was my motivation to keep going, that would suck. Instead, my motivation is like, wow, look at the art that I have. In fact, I get a little bit sad when it sells.
Sometimes some of the ones that you're like, I don't mind if this hangs out for a long, long time.
Yeah. Monday motivation. This week, you guys really focus on why it is that you create what you create. You didn't start creating because you wanted, you know, money in the bank. Obviously, we all want money in the bank, but you started creating for the creative process itself. So, yeah, let that motivate you, let that inspire you, and let that make you keep going. Other than that, I think it's time to say goodbye.
Mwah.
Adios.